everyone. This is Sarah Johnson with Appulate. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Whole and Company training powered by Appulate. I just wanted to say a quick hello. We're going to get started here in just a second. I'm going to give everybody about 10, 15 more seconds to get connected to audio, and then we will go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started today. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Sarah Johnson, and I am with Appulate. I am also here with Brian DeGraw from Whole and Company. Thank you for joining us for our presentation today on the submission process for Whole and Company, powered by Appulate. Just a few webinar logistics before we get started. Due to the size of the webinar and multiple attendees being on the call, everyone has been muted upon entry. However, we will have a Q&A session at the end of our training today. So please feel free to utilize the questions box of your webinar screen during the course of our training. We will be addressing those questions at the end of the webinar, and I definitely don't want you to forget them. The webinar is being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel and available for viewing within 24 hours. The training today will run roughly about 45 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about Appulate and Whole and Company for those who are Appulate and Whole and Company. So Appulate is a submission automation program, a platform that allows you as the agent to expand your markets, automate your workflow, all while saving you time and money. And we are with Whole and Company today because they are one of our market partners. They are absolutely fantastic. I'm going to introduce Brian DeGraw at this time, and he's going to talk a little bit about the product offerings and then go into some additional detail in regards to Whole. So Brian, I am going to give you the floor.
Thanks so much, Sarah, and thanks everybody for joining us. Just quick introduction, Whole and Company has been an MGA since the 1960s. I manage the professional lines and executive liability product offering, and we are thrilled to have partnered with Appulate several years ago with the goal of providing unique tools to retail agents like you for your small business opportunities. So we with that dedication to small business and trying to streamline the quote bind issuance process, Appulate's done a great job in providing a platform for us and for you to access. We started off the relationship with 3 products: a business owner policy, we've partnered with Chubb on that; a general liability policy, and we've partnered with Hiscox; and a professional errors and omissions product with whom we've partnered Arch on. So that's our product offering available through Appulate. You'll see business owner's policy with Chubb is highlighted in red because that's the one we're going to use for the demo. And the goal of this demo is in response to many of our retail agents wanting some more information on better utilizing the system, all its features and functions, as well as just becoming more proficient in entering information to get quotes and to be able to bind business as quickly and efficiently as possible. So on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more quickly.
Oh, sorry about that, Brian.
Yeah, that's okay. About the business owner's policy. So we launched this product with Chubb, who does a great job in providing broad coverage to small business owners. This is a micro type policy, really intended to cover small businesses, things like coffee shops, as well as consulting type risks, people that are working from home. That's really the intent of this. The average policy is about $300. And again, they do a great job with that. And this is a very easy way for you to manage that transaction. At least we hope it is. So we really simplified the underwriting process through Appulate's assistance in providing a very streamlined sort of e-application that you'll see as Sarah does her demo to quickly enter the most important information throughout the process that's going to get you to the quoting stage. And that will allow you to do all kinds of different things to get that proposal in front of your client and get the business bound with as few touches as possible. So again, the product's dedicated to small businesses. Just so you know, it's with that in mind, it provides 3 different options of different packages to choose from, with the maximum for business personal property of $75,000. So that'll just give you a sense of the kind of scale of the target risk that they've identified for this particular product offering. Also, you should know that it's available in all states. There's no territory limitation. And the reason there's no territory limitation is because it's only providing contents coverage. There's no building coverage on this policy. You can go to the next slide, Sarah. So here's those 3 packages that I was referring to that you and your clients will be able to choose from. And as you can imagine, when you go from silver to gold to platinum, there's a little bit of a difference in premium. So their basic policies, their silver policy, it's providing the 1-2 limit business personal property coverage for $15,000, and they provide an automatic additional insured for the landlord in this particular case, and business income coverage up to $250,000. And as you'll see on the gold, it kicks up the business personal property limit to $35,000, and it provides you with a blanket additional insured endorsement, as well as that $250 business income, and then it extends coverage for hired and non-owned automobiles. And then the platinum policy provides up to that $75,000. That's the maximum threshold they will consider. Gives you the other items as the 2 previous packages, and then includes a privacy liability feature of $50,000, and including $10,000 of data breach coverage. And a unique feature, which is in high demand, is a sublimit for employment practices liability of $50,000. So just to give you a sense of what the product's all about, again, the intent of this webinar is to really get you more comfortable with the quoting process, but you can certainly either offline ask questions more in depth about any of the product offerings that we have through Appulate, or any of the other brokerage options that our practice focuses on. I can certainly send you brochures and things like that about our practice to give you a better flavor of the target focus for our firm.
Thank you so much, Brian. Let's now move over into some training. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize our screen here. We're going to bring up Appulate. Now we're going to sign in directly. Our sign-in page here is just appulate.com/sign-in. If you've never signed into Appulate before, I will say there is a very high chance you already have credential information, and you may need to just reset your password. If that's the case, just go ahead and enter your email address here and click Forgot Password. If the system lets you reset your password, then your email address, your credential info, you do have login info. You just need to reset your password in that case. If the system does not, go ahead and hit the Sign Up Now button. So we're going to go ahead and hit Sign In. And the workflow that we're going to be using today is entering customer information directly within the Appulate system. But I do want to mention there is an additional workflow that allows you to bridge over the information from your Accord form to the Appulate system, eliminating the need to rekey any unnecessary data. That utilizes our Appulate uplink print driver, which can be found in the Tools section up here at the very top. And then you would choose uplink from the drop-down menu. I'll show that just a little bit later in terms of, more info on the download, but let's go ahead and get directly into the workflow. So we're going to click on this big blue Add New Customer Prospect button on the top, kind of near the left-hand side of the screen. We are going to add in our agent or our insured information. All right. Give the system an FEIN. We're going to add our address for our insured, phone number. So we're just entering the information in manually. Click Continue. We're now going to select the line of business, which today we are going to be doing the BOP. So you're going to choose the business owner's policy from the drop-down menu. Enter your effective date here. Your expiration date will automatically update when you enter your effective date. And now we can go ahead and click continue.
Hey, Sarah, can I jump in real quick on that topic?
Yeah.
So a common issue I find is that folks enter a effective date of the same day if they don't have coverage currently for a particular risk as the same day they're entering the information or wanting to get the quote. I would recommend you choose maybe a week or two in advance. It's not going to hold you to that until you bind anyway, but that would allow the quote not to expire, and then you'd have to go back and change the effective date to kind of restart that process a little bit again. It's a small glitch you have to get over. If you do it anyway, it's not difficult to fix it, but to avoid it at all, I would recommend choosing an effective date sometime in the future to give you some more time for binding the account.
Thanks, Brian. Good reminder. I do want to say, while on that note, if for some reason you do add an effective date in that first screen that isn't within that or that's not beyond that 2-week time frame that Brian was talking about, you can edit that effective date from within the submission itself. So up at the submission tab, up at the top here, it says business owner's policy. Notice that the date here is actually editable. So if you wanted to edit that date, just go ahead and click the date itself, and then you can edit it in this screen as well. So it does not have to be on that first effective date screen. Of course, it eliminates you having to do this step if you take care of that up front, but you can edit that date here. So now that we're in our submission, we need to add Hull & Company as our market. So we'll go ahead and hit the plus sign that says add market. We're going to choose Hull from our drop-down menu here. You can see that Westchester is automatically added. And we have some letter indicators that are going to help us move through our submission. That's where this little orange A comes in right here. Notice if I hover over the orange A, it provides me with live and dynamic clickable links that will take me directly to the question in the questionnaire, eliminating the guesswork as to where that question is. So if I click on the select package type question, it highlights that question here in a big red box in the actual section itself. That is one way you can address the missing and required questions needed for your submission. But there is an additional workflow that accomplishes the exact same thing. It's just a different view. And that's just utilizing the tabs down here at the bottom. So this is saying in the subject section, there are 6 missing and required questions that need to be addressed in this section before you can move forward. Each question that is missing and required will have a red indicator next to it, just like you can see here. You would answer those questions to be able to move forward to the next section. One other thing I do want to mention is the ability to send questions over to your insured to complete. Say we answer, select the package type here at the top. We're going to go ahead and select Platinum. We're going to add our class code here, or we're going to do salon. We'll go ahead and look for or coffee shop rather. Let's go ahead and do a coffee shop. Coffee shop. Use the search tool. Going to select coffee shop from the drop-down menu. If you know the actual class code, go ahead and enter that. And now we're at the point, say, where we need to obtain some information from our insured regarding gross sales here, number of full-time employees, part-time employees, and annual sales. You know, we don't have this information. So let's request it from our insured. You have the ability to send questions over to your insured to complete. It's very simple to do so. Near the far right-hand side of the screen, kind of near the top, there is a plain piece of paper with a question mark over it. When you hover over that icon, it says send questionnaire to complete. Go ahead and click that questionnaire, or that icon rather. You're going to leave your market selected here. If you have additional missing and required questions that happen to be in the other sections and you want to obtain that information from your insured as well, please feel free to leave those selected. What I really want you to pay attention to here is the types of questions that you are selecting. If you select all, it's going to send all of these forms here that you see in their entirety over to your insured to complete, including the information that you've already entered as an agent. More often than not, you're probably going to find yourself selecting this unanswered question box, or in this instance, say you only need the answers to these 4 questions, that gross sales, the full-time employee and part-time employee, you would select required unanswered questions only, and then click OK. Once you click OK, it sends an email over to your insured from you as the agent with a link. They can go ahead and click on that link. The questions will present themselves in a Q&A form, just as you're seeing right here, but you won't see, the insured rather won't see this information regarding Appulate. They will simply see the questions themselves. They will answer those questions. Then they're going to see a big blue complete button that shows up in the top right-hand side of the screen. They would click complete, and then you're notified via email instantly that your insured has provided information on a questionnaire. You can then hop back into the Appulate system, and you would see then that the questions that were missing and required had been answered. You would see the information provided by your insured as the information they provide automatically populates back in the Appulate system. So you do not have to rekey any of that information that's provided by your insured. That can be a very helpful tool for many agents. I will say that the information is not set in stone. So if you notice that there is a typo or something needs to be edited in the information that your insured has provided, please feel free to edit that information. But for now, we're just going to go forward and provide the information for our submission here. All right, so we're just moving forward, answering the missing and required questions. You can see that the questionnaires remove themselves as we go forward. So just looking for those indicators, you can see there's a missing and required question in premises. So now we're just simply moving forward, answering those questions with the indicators. Now that we have answered all the questions in underwriting, we'll move on to coverage history. Moving forward, again, just answering those missing and required questions here in that section. Now we're going to move on to policy. Just providing that information here in the section. All right, and now we're going to move on to the policy info section. And we've gotten at this time exactly what we were looking for. That A for accepted, exactly where we wanted to be able to get this quote from Home & Company. So at this point, now that we have received this A for accepted, there are no missing and required questions left to be addressed. We would need to go to the Actions tab on the far right-hand side of the screen and click Submit. This would then send the quote over to Home & Company so that they can provide you with the quote. You would see your status bar change at this time. I do notice that we get a lot of agents who will get to this point and for some reason think that they've submitted, which is fine. But please make sure you are clicking the Submit button in the Actions tab, because that is the final step to making sure this request for quote gets sent over to Home & Company. If you do not click Submit, it does not get sent over to Hull. So you want to make sure that you have that green A for accepted and that green Submit button. Notice my status bar says not submitted yet. As soon as I was to click Submit, it would change my status to submitted instead of not submitted yet. In this instance as well, because my submission checked out here with Westchester, we would be able to get an instant bindable quote from Westchester. And if you wanted to move forward with that, if there are any binding subjectives, so on and so forth, you would finalize those in the request to bind section. And that is the workflow essentially from start to finish with Home & Company for the BOP without even using an Accord form. So really within just a few minutes, we were able to get through a submission for our insured. And if we wanted to go through with that final submit, and get that bindable quote from Rochester through Hull & Company, then we would be able to get that very quickly and very easily. If you had an Accord form and you would like to uplink that into the Appulate system so that you do not have to rekey the data that I had manually entered, you can definitely do that as well. The workflow looks exactly the same. The only difference is you go straight to the submission screen rather than having to enter the insured's name manually, the insured's address manually, the insured's phone number manually. So I do want to show those who use Accord forms where to download the Appulate uplink print driver so that they can do that. You're going to locate tools at the top. We took a look at this earlier. You're going to choose Appulate uplink from the drop-down menu, and you would then click download uplink driver. Again, takes about a minute to install, and once installed, Appulate uplink will show up as a printer option when you go to print your Accord form. So you simply open up your Accord form, make sure that Appulate uplink is your destination printer, and uplink those Accord forms into the Appulate system. So you can get submitting with Hull & Company very quickly and very easily. Brian, was there anything you wanted to chime in on that particular section?
No, you did a great job.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I do want to open it up for questions now. I think we have a couple. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. All right, Brian, I think we have a couple for you. Is this program available in Florida with wind?
Yeah, as I mentioned, there's no territory limitations. Wind is not excluded, and that's because there's no building coverage. So absolutely.
Awesome, thank you. Another one we have, can we request a quote for BPP over a $500,000 limit?
Nope, the maximum, unfortunately, is $75,000. Again, it's meant for really small micro businesses, so that would kick it out.
All right, thanks, Brian. Another one, can we request a liability limit of a 2.4? And can we request an umbrella quote with the BOP?
So right now we only have the ability to offer what Chubb has through us in this Appulate system, which is the 1-2 limit. Nothing else is available through the Appulate system, nor is an umbrella policy. We do have a team, however, that can provide umbrella policies. You just have to ask me. I'll make sure that we get the right person to go to market for an umbrella if you don't have direct markets, you want something else to compare it with. And for sure, I can facilitate that. And you've gotten a number of the steps down already by getting the BOP policy.
Awesome, thanks, Brian. I had another question on where to find uplink again. Yes, let me go ahead and show you that. When you log into the Appulate dashboard, this is what it's going to look like. To locate uplink, choose tools from the very top. It's that second icon at the top of the screen. You're going to choose the third option down that says Appulate uplink. And then from there, you would click the download uplink driver button. This big blue download uplink driver button. It takes roughly a minute to install. And once installed, Appulate uplink will show up in your list of available printer drivers so that when you have an Accord form open, you can select print and choose Appulate uplink from your list of printers. And then it will bridge over all of the duplicate information from the Accord form to the Appulate system, eliminating the need for you to enter any duplicate data. So you're eliminating that data reentry. I'm going to go ahead and leave the uplink kind of screen up here just so you can see the download button. One more time, it's tools again, and then Appulate uplink. Do we need a user ID and password with Hull to quote? So you do need Appulate credentials. I do recommend trying to reset your password first. So if you go to appulate.com/sign in, again, that's appulate.com/sign in, and click forgot password, the system should allow you to reset. If it does not allow you to reset, then you will need to create a new account. That is also found on the appulate.com/sign in screen. Once you create an account, I do want to make sure that Hull & Company is in your list of available markets. So let's talk about really quick how to add Hull & Company to your markets, or to make sure that they're already in there. So take a look at the Markets tab up at the very top. Markets tab is going to be the one smack dab in the middle there. You're going to choose Selected from the drop-down menu. And you're going to be looking for Hull & Company Horsham. If it's already there, then you're good to go. There's nothing else that you need to do. From there, if you notice that Hull & Company is not in your selected market list for any reason, you'll go back to Markets at the very top, choose Available this time from the drop-down menu, and go ahead and type in Hull & Company in the search bar. After you locate Hull & Company, I'm going to minimize my webinar screen there really quickly. I'm going to use this very top market as an example. Say my example market up at the top is Hull & Company, and I want to move that over from Available to Selected. On the far right-hand side of the screen, there's going to be a plus sign. All you have to do there is click that plus sign. That market will move itself over from Available to Selected, and then Hull & Company would show up in that section.
Also touch, Sarah, on the appointment part of this with Hull & Company. So Sarah covered, accessing the system, using your credentials, your Appulate credentials, and how to select Hull & Company and make them a selected market. You can, at that point, feel free to use the system to get quotes with us. But at the time of binding, you will need to become appointed with Hull & Company. And so there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can call me or email me, and I can get you the information that you need to do that. And it's a pretty quick process. There's some documentation that we would need. It goes to our compliance team, and usually within about 24 hours or less, they will approve it unless there's additional information required. The other option is Appulate offers a feature to allow you to request an appointment with Hull & Company, and you can, perhaps, Sarah, you can show where that is located.
Sure, definitely. So in Markets, under Selected, here's Hull. We identify Hull, and you just click on this button here that says Not Appointed. It's then going to take you to the appointment screen for this market. And since Hull & Company provides in-system appointments, what they're going to do here, it tells you exactly what additional items are needed. So you're going to have to upload the documents that you see here to the Appulate system just by clicking on Upload File. Right here, this little plus sign. You'll add them to the Appulate system and then sign the agreement. You just click Sign. It's a pen tool, far right-hand side of the screen, and then it will load the appointment agreement here for you. So you can automatically sign that appointment agreement document after you have uploaded all the documents required for the appointment directly with an Appulate and send the appointment request over within the system. And that will get sent over to Brian, and Brian is notified that you've made the request. So all you have to do here is just click the arrow and the system will start taking you through the signatures that are required. Again, make sure that you are uploading the necessary, sorry, Brian, uploading the necessary documents that you see here with the Upload File button, clicking that pen tool here. Once you have done that, please click the Request to Bind button at the bottom left-hand side of the screen. That is what is going to notify Brian that he has a request.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, I was just going to add that, as Sarah mentioned, I'm notified immediately once you've requested an appointment, and it'll send me a link, just like it kind of send your clients a link back to the account to answer questions. It'll send me a link notifying me that you've requested an appointment. It'll take me right back to the documents that you've uploaded. I take those out and I send them to compliance, and then I get back to you. I am a human, so that only delays would be if I didn't get to it immediately, but I am notified immediately and check that and work through that process really quickly. In fact, I got a request for an appointment about 10 minutes before we started the webinar, and that information is over to our compliance team. And as I mentioned, the whole process generally takes less than 24 hours to get you what you need so that you're in a position to bind coverage.
All right, so we have a couple of other questions. Sorry, I'm going a little quickly through here. Can an insured pay with a card over the phone?
Oh, it's a great question. So billing, yes, on this particular product, there is a partnership with a premium finance company. On the quotes that you receive, the last page will detail the information necessary for billing and a contact number at the premium finance company if there's any questions along the way. But once you bind the account, it's actually taken over through the premium finance company through a direct link with Appulate, where the insured will be notified. You should give them, a heads up to expect an email from the company, and it'll give them all of the options that are available to finance the account, or even a one-time pay now, and they can do an ACH payment or a credit card payment. They make it really simple to use, and then you're notified along the way as your client fulfills the billing process.
All right, we'll go to the next question here. Is the BOP through an admitted or not admitted carrier?
It's through an admitted carrier.
All right, do we have to be in the quote? This is referring back to the uplink question. Do we have to be in the quote at that time? I believe what you're saying here is you have to be in the quote having it open to uplink the Accord form. No, actually, you don't even have to have Appulate open at all. You can just have the Accord form open, select uplink as your printer driver, and the system will automatically give you a pop-up asking you to validate your Appulate credentials, and it will automatically log you in. We do have someone saying they have a Holland Company appointment, but they show up as not appointed. I can send their information over to you if you wanted to look into that, Brian.
Perfect.
Another one.
And sorry, Sarah, just to clarify that. So Holland Company has different profit centers. The appointment would have to be with Holland Company Horsham. You may have an appointment with another profit center located in another part of the country in one of our other offices. So because we do kind of act independently from an appointment process, that may be what's causing that. The good news is that if you are already appointed with an Holland Company office or profit center, then you just let me know which one. You should have a producer ID from Holland Company that you can share with me. And then you wouldn't need to send me any additional documentation. I can grab that from the Holland Company office that you're appointed with and move that along a lot more quickly. So that may be the issue. Maybe it's not. And for sure, I can look into that once Sarah sends me the info.
Awesome, thanks. I think this is probably along the same lines, but they're appointed with Holland Company with the homeowners program, so they need to get appointed with the commercial department as well. I'm assuming that's kind of same lines, and they still need to send a request to you.
Yeah, we don't appoint by product. So once you're appointed with us, with our company, with our profit center, you have access to all the different lines of coverage that we offer. You don't need anything individual per product line.
Awesome. Question here, can we quote a grocery and convenience store with the BOP product?
So I'm not up on every single classification code. What I would recommend you do is, you saw Sarah taking you through the demo. There's an ISO, you can type in the description, and if it's there, it's eligible, barring the other underwriting requirements. But off the top of my head, I'm not absolutely positive. I'm sorry. There's about 500 classification codes or so. It grows. that are eligible. So just test it out for yourself and check that drop down for grocery store or convenience store. I want to say it is the business personal property limit may then throw it out. But yeah, it looks like Sarah's going to take over and check it out.
Yeah, it would be in this section right here. So you just kind of look under the class codes here, and then you can search for, I'll just remove this one really quick. You would just search grocery or even convenience store. So grocery store does show up here. There may be some different missing and required questions. So it does look like in this particular instance, you might need to update some information here, as of course, this is just a demo, but grocery store does show up here.
Perfect.
Just really quickly, same individual, can we offer liquor liability coverage?
Unfortunately, no.
I'm going to put up a screen with our contact info here. We do have a few folks asking for it. So sorry, I'm going to move over my questions box so I can still read our questions that are coming in. But I do want to put up the contact information for both Brian and I. So if you have any questions in regarding Whole & Company, as far as products, so on and so forth, you can definitely contact Brian directly. As far as Appulate, you can definitely contact me directly. We do have a couple of other questions, though, I do want to go over. So anybody asking or looking for contact info, go ahead and email Brian or I here. Quoting products, or how should I quote other products for Whole & Company? You can still use the Appulate system. Different lines of business will also be available for Whole & Company. We had the products up here. I'm going to move to the screen just really quickly. So product offerings, again, that BOP, the GL, and professional errors and omissions. The workflow is identical regardless of the line of business. So exactly how I process the quote today is exactly how you would do it for a GL or the E&O. And
just to remind everybody, as Sarah was going through the workflow, that process takes place when you select the product line. So after you've selected Whole & Company, then you select the product line, and that's where you would select one of those three options.
All right, we had a couple of other questions, so let's go through it. Went through liquor liability. Great question. So uplink, what is the difference between uplink and weblink? I'll take this one. So uplink is what you're going to use to bridge over information from your record forms to the Appulate system, eliminating the need to rekey any unnecessary data. Weblink is not going to be something that's going to be affected by Whole in any way. Weblink is part of our Producer Connect Premium product. What we were showing you today is through Producer Connect standards. So it is how we went through the quote today and quoted with Whole is free for you as an agent to use, because Whole is bringing this product to you, as a market partner. So if you are quoting with Whole & Company, the Appulate system is free for you to use. There may be some markets that are part of our Producer Connect Premium, which require uplink, and that is an entirely separate conversation, which I would be happy to have with anyone. I'm going to go back to our contact screen here again and put this up. So if anybody has any questions regarding, Producer Connect Premium versus Producer Connect Standard and what that means, please feel free to email me. Again, what you saw today is available at no cost to you, but the premium version does have more robust features, additional features that would be available to you, but it doesn't have any effect on you being able to quote with Whole & Company. So go ahead and email me. In regards to pricing, someone had a question on pricing. Again, what we just saw, free for you to do. If you have any questions regarding Producer Connect Premium pricing, I can definitely get you connected to our sales team so they can talk about that with you. Again, here's our contact information, Brian and I. Anything Appulate related, please feel free to shoot that over to me. Anything Whole & Company related, definitely send that over to Brian. Any additional questions today? I think we've gone through the ones that we do have, but I do want to make sure that we're not missing any. So please feel free to use that questions box of your webinar screen, and we'll get those answered. We'll leave a couple more minutes here open for questions before we do a last call.
And Sarah, you were sending out this webinar to the attendees so they have it?
Yes, we will. As soon as it is uploaded to our YouTube page, everyone who attended today will receive a link so that you're able to view all of this information over again. Just clarification, someone needs, just to be clear, they live in Hawaii and the BOP is not through a surplus lines carrier. So Brian, Hawaii is included, and this is.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was a question.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that. Unfortunately, perhaps if you can shoot me that email, whoever posed the question, I'll look into that for sure and get back to you. I'm not positive about Hawaii.
We'll go ahead and do a last call for questions here. All right, well, we will go ahead and close it out. I want to thank everyone so much for taking time out of your busy day to attend our webinar today. We hope you are safe and well. Thank you all so much for being a great audience. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Brian and I are here to support you. Holland Company and Appulate are here to support you. So please let us know if there is anything we can do. Thank you all so much for attending.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.